Hello, glorious croppers. It's Kate. I am here with this week's installment of the Sketch Club sketch for you. And I'm moving towards the end of the book for this one. I'm actually doing a double page spread here. It's on page 73. But I was kind of intrigued by this sketch when I looked at the example because it was very specific. It looks a little like they used the decorative edge trimmer. Oh, I lost that word for a minute. Sorry about that. And it has a bit of a curve to it. It could just be the pattern paper or it could be the trimmer. And then this is the background paper that they have here. And I'm taking a little bit different approach. I'm going to use the banner punch this week. And I'll start right off with the tool tip for you. When you punch this banner, you can see on here that you can do a 1-inch strip, a 2-inch strip, or a 2.5-inch strip. So essentially you can make a flag. These can be as long or as short as you'd like them to be because you trim them down once you've done that. And I have pre-cut some of these just in the interest of saving time, but I did save a few to show you. So when you insert this paper into the track, I'm using 2-inch strips today. That's the problem. I was trying to go too far. I frequently look at the back to see what I'm doing here, but this piece that you take out, sometimes we call this punch poop, the parts that come out of the punch that aren't actually part of your design. And we're going to make use of this today. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this off at 2 inches. And I apologize, it's not your eyes that are going buggy, it's actually my light, which is one of the light bulbs is strobing for some reason, and I'm not really sure why, but maybe it's time to change the bulb or something like that. But in case it seems to be flashing, it is. All right, and then we'll cut the other piece. I have all the rest of them cut, so I'll pull them out in a moment. As you can see, these are scraps of paper that I have. They're from a couple different collections, from Fresh Focus and from one of the old travel collections. But I liked the way they all went together, and I like the way they go with the pictures that I am going to use on this. I am actually starting to scrapbook my trip to Nashville that I took last year. Finally, getting it in the book. So you will see some of my pages will be that. So let's just take a look at the sketch for a moment. As I say, it's a 2-page spread, and it uses 5 4x6 photos, which is really great for photos where, you know how you end up with the photos you just can't trim. So this is a really good layout for that. And it could be 6 photos actually if you wanted to replace that title block. Don't be afraid to replace the title block with a photo, or even, you know, a 3x4 vertical photo in there and just some journaling and a smaller title. It's your sketch, it's your page. You can be as flexible with it as you like. I'm going to set this aside for a minute and get my layout components out here. So these are the scraps. And this is I'm going to use this for my title mat up here. It's actually going to be more like here once I build the border. And then this is going to be the mat for my photo down here. So let's go ahead and start assembling. I'm making a very different sort of border than the one that's on the page. This is done with the flags that I cut that are 2 inches wide. So altogether, there'll be 6 of them that go down the side of the page like this. And then here's where the punch poop comes in, because we'll be taking those pieces of punch poop and leaving, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch. And this will make more sense when you start actually adhering them to the page. But leave about 1/8 of an inch of the background paper showing underneath there. And then I'm mixing these up so that they don't line up with the piece that they're cut from. And this way, it's a true scrapbook page. It's definitely something that you can make with your scraps. So your border looks something like this. And then let's start laying out the other side. Let's go with the bolder ones on the edge there. And all right, looks like I do need to cut one more. Let's see. Oh, I know why. Because I was going to use the other side of this. There we go. And that way it'll line up exactly. But don't be afraid to have one be different on each page. You won't lose the cohesiveness to that at that point. It'll still be a nice way to pull everything together. All right, get these up here. I'll show you my fingernails. I got these done for the upcoming crop. See my little flamingo with the crown? So you know that'll mark your time period if you watch the videos later on. It's right before the flamingo retreat. All right. And there's my last flag. So this is where your dry fitting comes in. I know I'm gonna be a tiny bit over on the top and the bottom. That's okay, I can trim that out later. Let me move this over a bit and start to play with where I want these to be. And I'm trying to get a good mix here of the bolder prints and the not as bold prints so that, there we go. I think something like that's gonna work. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on both sides, and that's really the fun part of it. So let's go ahead and start attaching those. I'm going to use my trusty repositionable adhesive for this because I have a feeling I am going to need to wiggle things around a little bit to make them fit the way I want them to. So we'll start adhering these. And I want to talk about embellishments while I'm doing this because it's a little monotonous. It's kind of like watching paint dry. Nobody wants to watch me stick adhesive on my parts and pieces. But travel or vacation albums are probably one of the most scrapbooked events and most likely to get their own album as well because they're finite. They have a beginning and an end. They have a distinct color pattern ordinarily, or at least a collection. One paper collection will do the job. And on top of that, everybody takes a vacation and everybody has a lot of pictures for their vacation. So it works out that everybody at one point or another is going to do a vacation album. Not everyone's going to do a wedding album or a baby album, but almost everybody's going to do a vacation album. Even if it's a staycation and you take that vacation at home. So my pro tip for that is when you go on your vacation, take a little, like a pencil case or something like that with you. A small zipper case that you can tuck all of your memorabilia into because along the way on a vacation, you collect a lot of things. You collect stickers, you collect maps, you collect ticket stubs, you collect all kinds of odds and ends of things. And on a page like this, they can become your embellishments rather than the traditional scrapbook embellishments that come with a paper collection. So that's a very good way to get more parts and pieces into your album and really make it personally your trip. So keep that in mind when you are doing that. All right. And now you get the idea of why I want to use the repositionable adhesive, because there's definitely going to be some moving parts to get this finessed just the way I want it to, so the centers line up and so on. And now here comes my cat to check everything out. So Nat Cat is on the scene. In case she should happen to jump up here, you will know why. She wants to put her 2 cents in. Usually she likes to do that when I'm on a conference call. She likes to hop up in front of the camera and stick her butt end first. I guess it's a gesture of friendship, but mostly it's just embarrassing. So if she does that today, well, there you have it, her best side. All right. So you get the idea. I may go back and fiddle with those a little bit. I may leave them just the way they are. And then this is where your title tag is going to be. And here we can lay out some of the photos so you start to get the idea. It's going to be fairly low on the page here because the next one is going to be up a little bit. And then, actually, I think I want to have these be a little closer to the center of the page like this. And then as we go along here, fairly close to the center. And then up here. And so you kind of get this flow that goes up the page this way. And then this one will go on the mat. So that gives you an idea of what the overall layout will look like. Now, in the secret box that just came out most recently, there are some of these paper clips. And I think I'm going to take advantage of these too, where I'll be able to clip little things to the photos, or maybe just clip the clip to the photo. And these photos have been sent out to print, but they're not back yet. But you can attach these before you actually adhere the photos down, so you have that opportunity to point out specific things. But let me go ahead and at least adhere this, because I do have, I'm going to use my regular adhesive for this because I know right where it's going. And it's one of the cardstock mats, so I want to be sure that it stays in place. And I'm going to put that up here. And let's see how we still like the positioning of these guys here. I think this is going to work out well. Okay, and then I have a sticker that comes from an old rugged paper collection. This is from the old company, so it's been around for a hot minute. This is when they went through the phase of printing them on the clear background. But I'm going to use this to overlap my journaling block here, because this sort of sets up the way I'm going to tell my journaling. It says my 5 favorite memories. And this page is going to be about my trip to Jack Daniels for the day. So I'm going to talk about the bus driver and some of the other things that were specific to this trip that were my 5 favorite memories of going to the Jack Daniels tour. And I think that's all I need to show you today to complete this layout. I gave you your tooltip and your pro tip. Tooltip is to use the part of the punch that the discarded paper from the punch, find a way to use that. And the pro tip is to use your travel memorabilia as accents to your page. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off, and I will post the finished picture right after I run out and pick up the photos. And then I'll be able to post it on the page for you, and we'll go ahead and have everybody post underneath that with your version of the layout. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you soon.